How are you, everyone? Today is July 19th, 2024. I'm going to be reading from October 30th in my book, The Final Masterpiece. This is reading number 4. Thank you again for joining me. If you've not already heard a few of the other recordings I've made, they're also on YouTube, listed as Reading 1, Reading 2, Reading 3 of The Final Masterpiece. My name is Nathan Werking, and my entire purpose in writing these books, well, I guess two purposes, is to be obedient to the Lord, but to help people get closer to God, to grow in their relationship with Him. And the way that I believe the Lord's chosen to do that is that in these books, I've been writing down what I hear from the Lord every day, and no matter what He says, I try and write it as I believe I hear it, and then I go back and do a little bit of editing to make sure my grammar and spelling's okay, no typos. There's still a few of those things in there that might exist, but today I'm going to be reading from October 30th, and here we go. So a lot of times the Lord uses my personal phase or season in life to expound upon that for some bigger topics, and you'll see what I mean here in a second. So this one's a little different. This one's a little bit more transparent about my personal life, but I think you'll see that it relates to pretty much any believer in the broader sense. So here we go. I felt again strongly that I needed to get my concealed license. For those of you not in the United States, that means that you are legally allowed to carry a handgun and other authorized weapons with you for self-protection. And then I felt like the Lord said this: it's not for you. You're a trustworthy individual. You may spare some from coming to my judgment too quickly. Think of yourself as a delayer of divine judgment. Evil people seek to take the lives of others without regard to their relationship with me, a defender of the weak. You can buy them more time so they can know me before they leave this earth. This is not a hobby. This is a role for you to defend the weak. Tigers hunt their prey and attack viciously. They think only of themselves. But innocent people are not like that. Most people don't have a way to protect themselves. This role carries responsibility and therefore must be trained. I said, Holy Spirit, I say yes to you concerning this. Increase the size here for you. You are not a violent man and therefore can be trusted more. You must defend. Society will begin to turn toward survival. When a man can't eat, he becomes irrational. When a woman can't feed her baby, she becomes desperate. Defending what you love is not war. Restraining evil is not evil. Your children should learn too. You will not be here forever. Planning takes time. It is better to start in times of peace when you can focus. The revived Roman Empire is seeking to dominate. New Babylonian methods will be unleashed. They will surround Jerusalem. The chief false king will appear. People will fear not eating and assume they should just follow him. Community must exist again. People loving people, caring for their neighbor as though they are family. This was not an option in my kingdom. It was a command. Loving your neighbor shows you are trustworthy. People don't fight against neighbors they can trust. Loving your neighbor was a simple way of preparing my people for the end from the very start. Had my people obeyed, the Antichrist would have less area to dominate at will. I know what I am doing. When I state a command, it may be for multiple reasons. Humans have commands. Angels have their own commands. I am not speaking of what I came to accomplish. I am speaking of my order to love. My servant John did a good job explaining my heart. When you love someone, you don't want to hurt them. When you love me, you obey me to please me. So when you love others, you are showing me that you care about what I care about. I am not confused. I know what real love is. I know what fake love, partial love, mingled love. Be refined by spending time thinking about what I think about. This is meditation, not just memorizing, but rather really thinking on the words I've shared with humanity, thinking about why I wrote them. You will demonstrate love when you put me first. Love that has been tested is more sweet than love that is not. Why should I expect anything less than everything I have already told you? Seek me first. That's what the scriptures say. They do not say, seek me with or more or anything else like that. It is an attitude of the heart, not a check mark on a to-do list. Do you really want me? I want you to. The reward of my presence comes after the obedience in seeking me. I began to see a little child, barely toddler age. I then felt like he said the following: the little ones who seek me with their whole heart, even if they are new in the faith, start off on the right path. This is not about natural age or the total number of years you have been born again. It is this simple: have you followed me? I'll say that again. It is this simple: have you followed me? Do you not think I could take all sickness from the earth in a moment? Could I not provide daily food for you for free? Am I not able to remove all challenges in your life? Why don't I? Many of these things are ways you can lean into me and experience me. If all obstacles and suffering were removed, would you grow? It is all about relationship with me. These things will help you get closer if you choose to see them that way. I don't want people to believe in a false God that is distant and unable to hear. I want them to know that those that call on the name of the Lord will be saved. I am the saving one, Elohim. A little measure of faith can have great impact on the world. Look at James Huey. James is a friend of mine and a well-known worship leader that wrote a song titled, When I Think About the Lord. The song I gave him has blessed people for many years. Keith Green, even in his death, had an impact on humanity. Keith Green was an influential Christian musician that died in 1982. Barbara Walters, in spite of her speech impediment, impacted the world through reporting and talking. After I wrote the above words, I learned that Barbara Walters died on January 30th, 2022. It was exactly 1 month after I wrote these words in my journal. I have email documentation showing when I wrote the original words before her death. Moses did not want to speak, and I accommodated him by providing Aaron. Gordon and Frida's willingness to begin what I put in their heart provided millions of moments in my presence. Gordon and Frida Lindsay were the founders of Christ for the Nations Institute in Dallas, Texas. You do not know all that your obedience will produce. Know me, do my will, I will increase as I please. Pray for my kingdom to come and my will to be done in the regions you have been given. He's talking to me right now. I will assemble the people that need each other in those areas. Do your part, I will do mine. You are a disciple maker, but firstly a prophet. Do not be ashamed of that title. Will fear of man help you be obedient? Will caring about what they think assist in expanding my name around the world? All men are challenged by the titles I give them. It requires them to lay down their self and take on part of who I am. Titles are funny. Yes, I believe the Lord used the word funny. For those that believe in the roles, they are told to lay down their ambition for me. And those that make fun of those names don't even resemble my nature in any fashion. The naysayers' opinions are worthless, but my opinion is valuable. Simple meditation is good. You do not need to be a master at memorization. Take simple words and think on them, chew on them, eat them. This will help you. Memorization will come in time. I have set before you a wide array of things to eat. Come and feast on my words, and you will be satisfied. Begin simple. We're almost there at the end. Small bites over time equate to a big meal. Even Elias and the other children can consume phrases that contain my nature. Elias is my third child and the youngest of my 2 sons. It is nourishment. Then I had this understanding: for those that don't know him, it is nourishment, and for those that for those that know him, it is nourishment, and for those that don't yet know him and have not yet received him, it is a seed. Either way, it is very useful to the one who hears what I have to say. I then saw a construction vehicle, like a bobcat, at the very bottom of a large dam. I saw what I believe represented me, a person getting out and patching a small crack in the bottom of this large dam. This phrase then came to me: patching the small cracks saves the city. I knew after he had said this that there was a city that was at the base of the dam. Taking time to deal with the small cracks helps prevent the dam from breaking and water from flooding the city. Therefore, we must address the small cracks so that everything is working as it should. This takes humility and patience, but it's worth preserving the city. This relates to our personal relationship with the Lord, our family, our marriage, our calling. Taking time to patch up what is cracking can prevent further damage and possible destruction. So thanks to your patience with that. It's oftentimes a lot easier for me to read what I'm writing in my head and a little bit more difficult to read what I wrote out loud. But thanks so much for listening. This is reading number 4 from October 30th, 2022, and from my book called The Final Masterpiece. It's 19 of my individual books put into one. Thanks so much for listening.